What's up, guys? Mitchell Watts with Town & Country TV, and today we are going to be talking about the new Ford Maverick. Now, if you're not familiar, the Maverick is a brand new vehicle to Ford Motor Company, and what we're going to do in this video is we're going to dissect exactly what comes in each one of the trim levels. So in this video specifically, we're going to be talking about the XL trim level. There's 3 trim levels on the, technically 4 if you want to count the first edition, but you have the XL, XLT, the Lariat, and then you have a limited run of the first editions. So in this video, we're going to go over everything that is standard equipment on the XL, and then we're going to also tell you what packages you can get on that XL, and then also the freestanding options. We've got 2 more videos coming very, very soon that will be talking about the XLT and the Lariat to give you a full breakdown of exactly what you can get in as far as options are concerned on each and every trim level. So if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, in fact, 89% of you guys that are watching me right now are not subscribed to Town & Country TV. Make sure to hit that red button down below and hit that bell notification so that way you don't miss these other videos that are coming up. And by the way, before we get too much further into the video itself, I do want to let you know that TC Customs is giving away a brand new Bronco Sport. In fact, you have just a few days left to enter that giveaway, so go to tccustoms.com. Every piece of merchandise, a hat, a shirt, everything you purchase goes to an extra automatic entry into that giveaway. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the standard equipment on the XL version of the Ford Maverick. Now, in full disclosure, I do have some notes here that I've created to make sure that I don't miss anything specifically. I'll make all of these notes available for download below. The link will be down there if you want to download exactly what I'm going off of, which are the notes that I've made for myself. But there's literally so much information in this video and on this vehicle that I want to make sure that I don't miss anything. So forgive me for using an outline. Normally I like to try and freehand everything, but not exactly available in this type of a video format. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the engines and mechanical side of the Ford Maverick. Now, there's going to be 2 available engines in the Maverick. The first is going to be the standard hybrid engine. That is right, this is the very first pickup truck to ever offer a standard hybrid powertrain. Now, the only thing about that hybrid is it does come with a sometimes been controversial CVT transmission. And if you don't know what that is, that's a continuously varying transmission. Continuous variable transmission. I don't know why I couldn't say that just then, but it only comes in a front-wheel drive configuration, so no all-wheel drive if you want the hybrid. And that particular powertrain does come with a fuel tank of 15 gallons. Now, that's interesting to note because the optional 2.0 EcoBoost comes with a 17-gallon fuel tank. Now, the transmission that's made it up to that is going to be a standard or a normal automatic 8-speed automatic transmission. So if you don't want that CVT transmission, just make sure you go with that 2.0 EcoBoost, which is optional on the XL model. Now, another neat thing about the engine / mechanical side of the vehicle is going to be the vehicle comes with electronic parking brake. Now, what that is, why do I even care? Because yeah, you can pull the button instead of having to lift a lever to put your parking brake on. The reason that's nice to know is because it enables features higher up in the trim levels like the stop and go system. So this vehicle does have, not necessarily on this trim level, but the Maverick does give you the ability to go with adaptive cruise control and stop and go. When you come to a complete stop and the vehicle holds you there, it's actually using components inside of that electronic brake, the parking brake, to help keep you there before you start driving back off. So that's why that is important. Now, the other thing that I want to make sure you realize is this vehicle does come with electronic power assisted steering, EPAS for short. Now, what that does is that basically allows you to feel, it does a lot of different things, but the main thing technology-wise is that enables things like lane keeping, where the vehicle will literally look for the lines in the road, and that electronic power assisted steering will help keep you steering right in the middle of the lane. Think of it as a very early or very primitive version of autonomous driving. So it's nice to know that the Maverick has got that option as well. Now let's move on into the exterior of the vehicle. It's interesting to note that the new Maverick only comes in 1 cab configuration, 1 bed length, and that is going to be the Super Crew model, as you can see right there on the screen. Now, as far as the exterior is concerned, you've got a couple of different things. You've got a cargo lamp, which, you know, it's integrated into the chimsel, which is the center high stop mount lamp. Basically, your third brake light has got lights in it that shine down to illuminate the bed of the vehicle. So it's nice that they've taken that technology out of the F-150 and brought it into the actual Maverick. And speaking of that, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit on my notes and talk about some technology that actually came out of the Super Duty, and that's going to be these tow hooks, or not tow hooks, but the tie-down hooks in the bed of the vehicle. So you've actually got 6 hooks in the bed of the truck, and they are designed to tie down your cargo and to secure all of that. That stuff is taken straight out of the 150s and the Super Duty, so it's pretty cool to see that there as well. Easy Fuel capless fuel filler system. That is basically a fancy word for saying this car has no gas cap, which almost every one of the Ford vehicles have that right now. There's a couple of side benefits to that. One would be if you have, a normal gas cap, you let it dangle down below and you get some gas on it. When you go to put that cap back on, you've got gas on your hands and you smell like gas the rest of the day. So it's just nice to not have that. You just open the door, fill it up, close the door, keep moving. First world problems, right? But anyways, so let's keep moving. Let's talk about the mirrors on this particular vehicle. Have manual folding mirrors, and it comes with a molded in color black skull cap on the actual mirror. So it's basically, the XL is going to be the work truck version. I vision this particular trim level to be that person that really wants an inexpensive vehicle, for small trips to Home Depot or what have you. But I also think this will be a very big player as far as, if you have a pest control company and you need something you can throw in the bed of the truck, but you don't really haul a whole lot of weight, this might be a great option for you as well. This vehicle does come standard with a spare tire. And I know that sounds like, yes, doesn't everything? No, it doesn't, not anymore. So like the Mustang doesn't come standard with a spare tire. The Ford EcoSport doesn't come with a spare tire. There's a lot of vehicles in the marketplace right now that doesn't come with a spare tire. Now this one is a mini spare tire, and it is going to be mounted under the frame, but at least it has one. So nice to know that. Now the other thing that I want to point out is that this vehicle does have steel bumpers in the front and the rear. And so although this is a unibody frame, meaning that it is not a body on frame, like an F-150 you have the frame and then you have the body sits on top of that frame. That's not what this is. This Maverick has the frame is integrated into it's integrated into the structure of the body. It's one of the reasons it gets fantastic fuel economy, or projected to get fantastic fuel economy. But the nice note is that it does come with steel bumpers in the front and the rear. So that way, if you do, ding into something or have a slow speed collision, hopefully that steel bumper will hold up a lot better than something like a Honda Ridgeline, or something that may or may not have a steel front bumper or steel rear bumper for that matter. You'll also notice that it does have a locking tailgate on the standard equipment for the Maverick, but it is going to be manually locking. So you actually have to get out and lock it with the key itself, whereas like on the F-150, you can hit the button and it locks the car, and it also locks the tailgate, not necessarily on the Maverick. So next thing, let's talk about the tires. You do have a set of P225 65 17-inch wheel, so nothing really spectacular there. It's kind of a work truck wheel and tire combination. That's what you got on the standard equipment for the exterior. All right, now let's mosey on into the interior comfort section of the particular standard equipment on the XL model. So let's talk about the first thing is first, and I actually debated on putting this one into the safety category, but the vehicle actually comes with a rotary dial shifter. So no longer do you have like a old school shifter that shifts like this, you actually have a rotary dial. Why did I think about putting that under the safety column of this vehicle? Well, my wife had a 17 Explorer, I think it was a 17. It was around that model. It was the very last version of the Explorer before it went to the rotary dial. She was dropping off some Gatorade for our neighbors who their kid was sick and needed some hydration. So she got out to drop off that Gatorade, and she didn't realize it, but she left the car and drive. And the kids were in the car. And thank God that the kids were safe. God had His hands on our kids that whole time, and they were strapped in. Everybody ended up safe, but it caused like $9,000 worth of damage, and it could have been a lot worse. Well, that rotary shifter dial has got a safety feature built in that if you forget to put it in park, when you open that door, it automatically puts the vehicle in park for you. And so had that feature been on my wife's then Explorer, that would have never been an issue. So I know a lot of people say, I don't like the rotary gear shift dials. I'm sold on it after what I've seen what it can do to actually keep your family safe. So anyways, let's keep moving on. Let's talk about the 4.2-inch productivity screen. So inside the instrument cluster, you've got a standard 4.2 diagonal measured instrument cluster. You can control things about the vehicle, the drivability, the trip meter, fuel economy, that kind of thing. But you also happen to have an 8-inch center stack screen, which is going to be standard equipment. And the cool part is that comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto standard equipment, which I think is fantastic. They're giving you that touch screen with the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. But you also want to talk about, before we move on into other stuff, I want to talk about the AM/FM stereo system with a 6-speaker setup. That is going to be the standard system. It's nothing really to brag about. It's a standard work truck speaker system. If you're an audiophile, this is probably not going to be the trim level for you. Next up, let's talk about the air conditioning. This vehicle does come with a single zone air conditioner. So if you want the dual zone climate control, you're going to need to stay around to the other videos to see where exactly you pick up that option. But the only way to get the air conditioner in the XL model is going to be with that single zone. Basically, do you want it hot or cold, and how fast do you want it to blow? Now, I am excited to see that even on this base work truck, they've included a couple of really nice standard features, and that's going to be cloth seating instead of vinyl, and then you also happen to have power windows and power locks. Speaking of the power windows, you do have a setup where you have power one touch down driver window, and then you've got power windows on the rest of them. So if you really quickly need to just tap the button, the window rolls all the way down without you having to sit there and hold it. Now to pull them up, you have to sit there and hold them, but it is nice that you have the one touch down feature there. You've got some rear seat under storage bins. You've got a rear window with fixed glass. I'm going to talk about in a second how you can get a manually sliding rear window, so stick around to the later part of the video for that if that's important to you. I've already mentioned to you cloth seats, but I also want to mention to you that bucket seats in the front are also going to be standard, meaning that you cannot get a bench seat in the front. So this is going to be truly a 5-seater vehicle. There's no way to make this a 6-passenger vehicle, legally speaking, without throwing people in the bed of the truck. But anyways, let's talk about the seating since we're already there. On the driver's seat, you do have manual 6-way with lumbar seats, going to be standard equipment. And on the passenger seat, you still have lumbar adjustment. It's just going to be a 4-way adjustable instead of a 6-way adjustable. So just keep that in the back of your head. If you want some more power options, you are going to have to step up into a higher trim level, but that is coming for a later video. Now, as far as the rear seat is concerned, it does come with a full bench in the rear. Once again, cloth is going to be standard equipment across the board there. And it also comes with a flip-up seat cushion, so you can have some actual storage bins underneath it depending on the engine that you select. And I'm assuming the reason that the engine you select makes a difference is because of the battery pack. So that is going to be all of your standard equipment that comes standalone or standard with the particular interior of that XL model. Now let's talk about the safety of the vehicle itself. Now there's a couple of different things that I didn't include in this category that maybe I should have, but let's just jump into what I've got as far as my list is concerned right now. Post-impact braking. So it works like this. You get in an accident and for some reason you're knocked unconscious or something like that, the vehicle might continue to roll and cause another accident. What this vehicle does, if it detects an impact, it'll clamp the brakes down after the accident is subdued, and it will literally keep you from rolling into another person, causing another accident. So small little safety feature, but I think it could actually be important to keep your insurance deductibles at bay. Next thing, you've got an anti-theft engine immobilizer. So if someone tries to hotwire your vehicle, it'll shut down that motor so you don't have to worry about your vehicle getting stolen. Airbags with smart occupant sensing airbags. So you've got a driver and a passenger front airbag. You have a safety canopy side curtain airbags. You have driver and passenger side airbags. And you also happen to have a driver knee airbag. You got a lot of airbags. You get in an accident, it's going to be like a giant cushion. Ford has taken safety very, very seriously in the past, and they're not skimping out on this one either. Now let's talk about driver assist technology. I really like driver assist technology because it makes my life easier. It makes everybody's life easier, and really I'm a tech guy as well as a car guy. So auto high beam is standard. So auto high beam is not auto on and off, which it actually does have that as well. But auto high beam works like this. There's sensors in the front of the vehicle, and if there's someone in front of you, it will take your high beams and turn them to your normal low beams. and then if it knows there's no one else on the road, it'll automatically turn back on your high beams. And so it's a really nice feature to make sure that you got the most light, but you're not blinding the people in front of you. Next up, pre-collision assist with automatic emergency braking. This comes with a couple of different features like pedestrian detection, forward collision warning, and it also comes with dynamic brake support. This is basically a safety feature that is using a radar in the front bumper, and it's looking for cars and pedestrians in front of you. And if it sees that person or that car, it will do everything it can to lessen the severity or maybe even completely avoid that accident altogether. It's really nice that they include that as standard features across the board on the new Maverick. Now, the next up is going to be something that is safety. I mean, it's mandated by law, but that's going to be a backup camera. That's also standard equipment. But lastly, you also happen to have Ford Pass Connect. Now, this is one of my favorites for a couple of different reasons. It comes with a 4G LTE Wi-Fi hotspot using AT&T, and you can connect up to 10 devices to it. You do have to pay for the data after a certain period of time, or a certain amount of data is lost, but there you go. It's at least you have the hotspot there if you need it. And I actually have used it in a pinch when we were in Tennessee for a Bronco event. I have Verizon on my cell phone, and the car had an AT&T Wi-Fi hotspot. Well, guess what? Verizon didn't have service at that point in time, but AT&T did. We hooked up to that Wi-Fi hotspot. Bada bing, bada boom, we were ready to go. Anyways, let's get back to the actual Ford Pass Connect for just a second. The next thing you can do with that particular feature is you can schedule specific times to remotely start the vehicle. So straight from your Ford Pass app, even if the vehicle doesn't have the remote start on the key fob, you can still remotely start it and even schedule start times using that smart pass, the Ford. You can basically schedule it using the app. It's pretty sweet. Now, next up, you also can locate the vehicle. If you're at a ball game or whatever and you can't remember where you parked the vehicle, you can actually locate where you parked the vehicle, and then you can also check the vehicle status. I'm going to share a little bit of a story there that my father was actually in Atlanta and had his Explorer broke into while he was in Atlanta. And the Ford Pass app sent him an alert that said, your alarm is going off. You need to check it out. Well, that was at night, and when he got down there, sure enough, someone had broken into the actual Explorer. So it's nice that Ford notifies you that way. It's not so you can try and interrupt the burglary that's going on, but at least you know what to expect when you walk out there, just to be a little bit on high alert. Next up, let's talk about the freestanding packages that you can order. There's 2 available packages on the XL trim level of the Ford Maverick. The first is going to be the 4K towing package. Now keep in mind that this package is not available with the hybrid engine, so you do have to go up to that optional 2.0 EcoBoost to get this option. And as the name implies, it allows you to tow up to 4,000 pounds on this particular Maverick. A couple things you need to realize is this particular setup is going to come with 225, 65, 17 all-terrain tires if you're looking at a front-wheel drive, but if you're looking at an all-wheel drive, it comes with 225, 65, 17 all-season black sidewall tires, and that's, like I said, what's going to be included on the all-wheel drive setup. So that is going to be basically all-terrain versus all-season tires, regardless of what you're looking at. Next up, included inside of that package, you get a trailer hitch receiver with 7-pin connector, you get transmission oil cooler, you get a higher capacity radiator, you get upgraded cooling fans, and if you opt for the all-wheel drive, you get an upgraded drive ratio to allow you to tow that 4,000 pounds. Next up, the next package that you have available on this particular trim level of the Maverick is going to be the Ford Co-Pilot 360. That comes with a couple of driver assist technologies, and that's going to be, for number 1 is blind spot information system, BLIS for short. That also comes with cross traffic alert. Basically, there are radar sensors in the back of the vehicle looking out to the side. If it detects someone's in your blind spot when you're on the road, it will illuminate inside of the rear view mirror on the side mirrors to let you know, hey, you may not want to get over there, somebody over there. But that same technology is used, so if you're backing out of a parking space and someone's crossing you, hence the cross traffic alert, it will alert you if someone is crossing your path while you're trying to back out of that parking spot, hopefully preventing you from getting T-boned. It's another cool use of dual technology, one technology for dual purposes. The next feature you get inside that Ford Co-Pilot 360 is going to be the full-size spare, which is going to be actually standard with the 2.5 hybrid engine. So I guess that means that if you are getting the 2.0 EcoBoost upgraded engine and you go with Ford Copilot 360, you get a bigger tire. I don't know why a tire size on your spare has anything to do with Ford Copilot 360, but you know, Ford engineers are smarter than I am apparently. I'm just here to report the news to you. But next thing is you get lane keeping system. So we had talked about that earlier. It comes with actually a couple different technologies built into this one specific set. Lane keeping aid, which is the ability to literally bounce you back into the lane if you start to drift off. The other thing that you can do is you have lane keeping alert, where it just vibrates the steering wheel when you're leaving the lane. So if you don't want the car to have any driving abilities for you, it will vibrate the steering wheel just to kind of alert you, hey dude, you're running off the road. That's another nice feature. And then you also have the driver alert. So you can either do the alert, you can do the aid, or you can do both at the same time. But that is what that lane keeping system. So I don't know if I said lane centering earlier, but I didn't mean to. It's lane keeping. Lane keeping bounces you in the lane. Lane centering centers you in the lane. Lane centering is available, just not on this particular trim level. Next up, let's talk about the standalone options available on the XL version of the Ford Maverick. Once again, there's a lot of other options available, but you have to step up into a higher trim level to get those options. We're simply focusing on the XL trim level. First up is going to be a 400-watt inverter with one power point inside of the cab of the vehicle. That is a normal household outlet plug. Next up, you have a bed extender. Now, keep in mind, there's a lot of these options I'm about to read to you guys that are not available with, they're not compatible with other options. For instance, like that bed extender is not available with the hard drop-in bed liner. So just know that there's going to be some caveats. I'm not going to mention every one of those caveats to you. I just want you to make you aware of it. But bed extender, you have a bed tray liner, you have a hard drop-in bed liner, you have a bed mat that is removable, you have a spray-in bed liner, and so that's kind of your bed options that you have there. In addition to that, you can do a set of floor liners. They're all-weather tray-style mat, and you can either get them with or without the carpet mats that come with the vehicle standard. So that's interesting to know. Now, you also have a front license plate bracket is optional, but if you are in a state that requires it by law, it comes standard. If not, it's an optional feature, and I think it's a no-charge option as well. You also have a full-size spare tire as an option, manual rear sliding window, but please note that that does require Ford Copilot 360. What has that got to do with driver assist technology? I don't know, but anyways, if you want the sliding rear window, you have to get Ford Copilot 360. You also have a power tilt and sliding moonroof. You have protective film on the hood and the fenders, which some of these options I probably, if you can do them yourself or aftermarket, you might want to consider doing that, especially with the supply and demand of vehicles these days and how difficult it can be to get certain vehicles built. I probably would do what you can on your own and do what you have to get from the factory. So nonetheless, let's talk about the next thing, which is going to be rear under seat bins, but that is going to be standard on the 2.5 hybrid engine, but it's optional on the 2.0. Next up, you've got splash guards, which is going to be molded, with a front and a rear. It's a 4-piece setup. And then you've got a whole bunch of tonneau covers available. You got a hard roll up, you have a hard tri-fold, and you also have a soft folding as well. And then lastly, you do have a trailer hitch receiver with a 4-pin connector. And there you go. That is everything you needed to know about the XL trim level of the new 2022 Ford Maverick. If you got any help out of this video, please leave a big thumbs up. It really does go a long way into tricking the algorithm to promoting this content to other people. And we don't care if you ever buy a vehicle from us or not. We just simply know that if we help enough people, we'll never have to worry about money. But if you do want to reach out to us to order your Maverick, obviously we're not doing any dealer markups or anything like that. So I'll leave a link down below if you want to actually place a reservation for the Maverick. We'll be happy to help you with that, but we're already taking orders for these things. So feel free to reach us. The phone number is right there on the screen. But once again, this video is not to sell you anything. We just want to help you. And if you want to go to your local dealer, it's all good with me. We just appreciate you guys being a part of our community on YouTube. If you haven't already done so, make sure you are subscribed to the channel with that bell notification turned on so you don't miss a single video. Peace.